YouTube channel, my live stream. Welcome back to my review on WWE Smackdown. We will talk about Smackdown tonight. We'll talk about AEW Rampage for a bit. We'll talk about the news and rumors in the wrestling community. Um, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments section y'all want to see more. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'll make it like an hour. I don't make it too long like last time. I'll make it like an hour. We'll talk about the show. We'll talk about the matches on SmackDown tonight. Now the show just went out the air a few minutes ago with the main event, Cody Rhodes and Chad Gable. We got the storyline with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. The show ended with a brawl between Owens and Cody. After Cody had a pretty good match with Chad Gable, nothing special, it was just a filler match to main event the show. Nothing much happened on this show. We did get heel turn. We had a title change. We had the bloodline, but nothing much happened. And this was the fallout from Survivor Series that we saw last week on Saturday. I guess we gotta wait until the Royal Rumble, which is all the way in February 1st, when we get the Royal Rumble. Now we do have Saturday Night Main Event next Saturday, but that's a house show. Now this show is nothing special without Roman Reigns and the Bloodline story. We got a page live. They said the show is live. Okay. Now, wait, hold on a second. Sources are telling CNN that police believe they found the backpack. Alright, so, hey, what's going on? Now, my video has been sponsored by my favorite podcasters and YouTubers like JD from New York, Solomon the Sound Off, Denise Salcedo, Fightful Wrestling, Post Wrestling. We got Good My Work Commentary, and some other podcasters out there. Now, what's next for Soul Sokoa following War Games launch? We got some AEW. The Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That's a new game that came out. Heather created while playing more WrestleMania games. Saturday Night Main Event. Ring of Honor debut. Forever haunted by CM Punk. CM Punk AW accused of harassment by Ryan Nemeth. Hold on. Gotta wait for these commercials. Now this is another news and rumors. CM Punk and AEW are facing allegations of abuse and harassment by Ryan Nemeth. Nemeth had alleged in a report to AEW executives that Punk was targeting him and threatened him in the locker room. He claims he wasn't used for 2 months following the incident, and expressed to AEW he believed he had been slightly violent. We'll get more on this story in just a little bit. It said the WWE planning more returns. Smackdown not more than 3 hours. This is from Argo. WWE planning more returns for Saturday Night Main Event plus for the other. They are planning for Finn Balor. There are more returns at Sunday Night Main Event. Smackdown might not go to 3 hours. That was AEW. Swerve Strickland is AEW main character. I think I already saw those. Alright, I might as well talk about SmackDown. Oh yeah, there's Trevor Lee, aka Cameron Grimes, leaving WWE. He gave his thoughts and opinions on it on Fightful. Alright. The Rock playing more WrestleMania games. Get it creative. NXT era. Alright, now let's go back to my review. NXT deadline. Pretty sure that's tomorrow night, right? It did the bloodline. The bloodline saga, the greatest WWE story ever. What kind of it is? To be ripped off by Bismarck. Solo as world champion. What? New Day numbers. These are news and rumors I'm showing you for WWE. What did Cody want to talk about? Roster shakeup incoming in a supply title chains. Cody Rhodes kicked off SmackDown with Chad Gable in the American Made, and that's how we got the main event in SmackDown. We got new tag team titles. DIY defended. Well, DIY they won the WWE tag team titles. The Motor Machine Gun was supposed to defend against the Street Profits, but they got taken out. I think by the Bloodline, so they couldn't wrestle tonight. So we got DIY in the Miz, and they won tag team titles tonight. We will go over more about that. We got the Women US title tournament. Naomi, Tiffany, and Alexa Lopez. Tiffany Stratton advances. Next week she'll face Michin, and we'll get Bailey and Chelsea Green, and the final will take place on a Saturday night main event. I think the only thing that was interesting was Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens and everything with the bloodline. That was it.
Let's see if they do the lowest rating. Yeah.
Wait, that's on 9. AEW All In Texas this Monday. The pay-per-view? With Kevin White.
We've got Motor City Machine Guns. They're going to be defending.
Making sure I show you guys all the other podcasters.
Chad Gable took advantage, targeted the ankle of Coke. What they're finding with them, and it kind of opens up the door with what the hell happened. But now I wonder.
Now let's see what Denise and Robin have to say about SmackDown. Actually, wait. Might as well get this over with so I can show you guys what happened on the show. That's how the show opened up. The Bloodline begins SmackDown with Carnage. They attacked the Street Profits. They attacked some security, by the way. Now we didn't see Roman Reigns tonight. There was no Jimmy, no Sammy, no Jay, no Tonga, no Bronson Reed. I guess they sold the match at Survivor Series on Saturday. But yeah, there was no Roman Reigns tonight. So how are we gonna keep the Bloodline story going? We probably have to wait till Roman and Paul come back to television, and then we can set up Roman and Solo. It might not be for Saturday Night Main Event. It might be at the Rumble, all the way in February 1st. That could take a while. So we gotta keep seeing more of the Bloodline shit. Now the show started off with Chad Gable and Cody Rhodes in a very good segment. I don't know why Chad Gable was doing the Monday Night Raw. Chad Gable was on Raw. Why is he on SmackDown? Is it for them to fill time because they don't know what to do with Cody Rhodes on the show? If Roman Reigns and the Bloodline is not on the show feuding, then they got nothing. So we have some people from Monday Night Raw show up on SmackDown. Chad Gable challenged Cody Rhodes to a match tonight. They had a very good segment. They were decent. I mean, Cody brought up that Shorty G used to be Chad Gable, and then Cody Rhodes brought Stardust, and the crowd cheered that. Now, I really hope they see some playing for Chad Gable in Tyler matches and in big matches like this. Didn't he feud with Rey Mysterio in the LWO? I hope we get him versus Rey Mysterio pretty soon. Him challenging Cody Rhodes tonight showed you they are playing for Chad Gable. Hopefully. Tiffany Stratton moves into the Women's US title. She'll face Miesha next week on Friday. And like I said, we got Bayley and Chelsea Green that will also be next week on Friday. The final taking place in Saturday Main Event, the pay-per-view on Saturday. It might be Bayley or Tiffany or Chelsea. I think Chelsea the most obvious person to win it. Bianca took out Piper Niven. She defeated Piper Niven tonight. Take their anger out on Piper Niven. Are we setting up a heel turn or what? I think we might. I hope this is all leading to Bianca turning heel, that she's the one that betrayed her own partner and took out Jade, hopefully, and sets up the breakup. Now, Bianca's still the tag team champion. I don't think she came up with the belt. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Those belts are irrelevant. They're devalued. Who cares? This match was whatever. It was nothing special. We got the Bloodline attacking Nakamura, LA Knight, Andrade. Did anybody attack Nakamura? Nakamura teed to get in the ring, but Nakamura the heel, so he was champion. Like, he just won it, so he's not gonna like be attacked by the Bloodline. He's gonna be protected. Bloodline went after Andrade and LA Knight. I don't know why. The sudden message probably because Roman Reigns is not there, so who's they gonna blow with? If the OG Bloodline's not on this show, then Bloodline just beat up some random people. They attacked the Street Profits, LA Knight and Andrade. Solo got on the microphone, cut a promo saying that he's saying that he tired of not be taken seriously, not looking weak. He said he's still the tribal chief. He said everyone still acknowledge me. So I guess we gotta wait until this storyline, when does it play out? Solo wanted to be taken seriously. Bloodline on a path of destruction after the devastating loss at Survivor Series. After Nakamura in the US title picture, LA Knight demands a rematch. Andrade, he getting involved. So I think we will get that. We got a very good segment with Kevin Owens and Michael Cole. After DIY won tag team title, after Michael Cole, he went backstage to talk to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens calls Cody Rhodes a hypocrite. He still blames him for teaming with Roman. He think Cody turned on him. This may be the most awkward interview Michael Cole's ever done with Cody Rhodes, with Kevin Owens. I mean,
ground that he's already tread, obviously Rockmania, but there's a lot of pay-per-views in Saudi Arabia between there. Now you're adding up Saturday night's main events. So he needs kind of squash.
all right, now let's get into Denise and Robin. Let's see what they have to say about SmackDown. I'm only gonna play some of it, not all of it.
today's show is essentially the fallout from Survivor Series, and there was quite a bit that we got to get into. And I want to start things off with the big thing, which is a transfer window. So a lot of people have been wondering whether or not WWE was going to do some sort of a draft before Raw on Netflix, because as we all know, it's a pretty freaking big deal, right? And you're gonna want to have to spice up the programming a little bit, and that means changing things around, some fresh new faces, some fresh new feuds, some fresh new matchups. Well, you do that when you shuffle people around, and for the most part, Robin, it has kind of been crickets on that end. Like we haven't really heard of anything really happening with that. And then today, in the opening segment, before we get to Chad Gable, before we get to Cody Rhodes, when Chad Gable came out, I'm like, wait, what is a Raw act doing here on SmackDown? Like, this feels really random. And Chad Gable essentially said that a transfer window had opened up, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about, a transfer window? But then Michael Cole basically said that Raw, SmackDown, and NXT GM got together to basically make some sort of a decision in terms of shuffling wrestlers about in a transfer window. Now, we don't really have any other details besides that, but what did you think of this and what was your reaction?
Well, look, I mean, I think anytime you get movement and stuff like that, it sets you up for surprise, and it's not surprising. My only worry, I mean, obviously, when I do a SmackDown reaction show, I don't want all these. You're good, you got Raw too, but something that really popped up in college sports.
SmackDown, where like we know, okay, this makes sense, where we understand, hey, this person's gonna be on Raw, this person's gonna be on SmackDown, this person got called up.
And the
But
comes out.
also, like, I guess what are the limits of that, right? Like, how many people? Who do we decide are the champions moving? And is it for like a certain amount of time period? Like, what are we thinking? What do you think would probably be the best way for WWE to sort of execute that transfer window?
Yeah, see, my worry is that there's not really necessarily a great, well thought out plan. It was just like, oh crap, we got to do something here. It's coming up in a month, right? And to me, I mean, it should be one for one or some sort of. It should basically be trade, is the way I would look at it.
So, for example, what you're saying in the trade would be like, okay, hey, I had Braun Breaker. Would you give me, I don't know, Reigns or something, right? Of course, nothing like that. You'd have to give a little bit more, but that's what you're thinking.
Well, no, I don't think that because the word trade and transfer are not the same, right? So,
besides the feud with Seth Rollins, think about it. What did
Braun
Breaker do besides the feud with Seth Rollins?
when they say transfer window, I don't know how long a period of time that is. Is that okay? Now I think I might get. All right, so basically, now that I'm thinking about it, we're talking about it.
The man for 5 minutes. My other problem
The way I might do it.
This man for 5 minutes. That's what you do in Puerto Rico. 5 minutes. Everything else in the show.
Whatever the predetermined date, let's say.
The end of 5 minutes. People are waiting.
So that way, in the first
No, so more than 5.
of the launch of Raw, you can sort of move the talent around a little bit and cut the side deals between the GMs
People are
so
waiting
that
for
the big
Baby
dog
back.
can be
Something happened.
on Raw, but also be on SmackDown and vice versa for a while before things really, sort of solidify and the dust settles a bit. And maybe that's where they're saying, using the word transfer specifically, because that means if it's transferring, you're going from one to the other, not this one is leaving this in exchange for this.
Right. Okay. So then that makes. I think we kind of saw a sample of that because, okay, Lash Legend, for example, and her and Jakara Jackson, they are NXT talents. However, we have been seeing them used on SmackDown. So then that would be sort of an example, right, of a transfer, which is Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, or CM Punk. People like that. I think this is their way of saying, like, okay, we want to make sure that they're on Netflix because that's going to be the big priority in terms of, like, really packing that up and making it star powered. But also, we don't want to leave SmackDown high and dry because we still got to please our partners over there. So we want to make sure we still do that. So it does feel like this is their way of sort of having their cake and eating it too. And then, because in an official draft, that would mean like we're not going to see this person on this show. So with them using the colorful term transfer, it makes it just a little.
Circumstances change things, and to me, the Netflix.
All of that on the show. So again, I think I've kind of gotten accustomed to their brand split. I don't hate it, and I don't mind it. I do like the idea though of having certain top people go from brand to brand, or at least sort of go back and forth, but not so much so where it feels like. Because here's the thing, this is what I don't want to happen. Because not everybody tunes into Raw and SmackDown, right? Like some people just watch SmackDown, some people watch Raw. Of course, there's some people that watch everything. But what I would hate is if I was only a Raw or SmackDown viewer, and then all of a sudden it was like, damn, I didn't tune into Raw, so now I missed out on this big piece of the storyline that I've been loving because I didn't tune into Raw, so I missed it or whatever. And I guess, oh my gosh, I'm just that person. I guess like the brand split now. What can I?
Are also watching SmackDown and vice versa if their favorites are cross pollinated across the
Man, all right. Well, let's go ahead and see what people are saying in these super chats and see what everyone feels about all of this. And also, before we get into the super chats, I do want to go ahead and wish Andrea Price a very, very happy birthday. Andrea, thank you so much. And I know we're supposed to be the experts, right? All I know is that I am now Team Kevin Owens, by the way, which we'll get into in just a second. But we got Bailey Darley here who says, "I'm happy that to figure this out, or we're gonna do things my way." And I remember that
groundbreaking or earth-shattering or any,
Or he-
but it does provide them with a little character, and it does get a little maybe going in the tag division for perhaps a series of matches.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like, I think this is the best thing that they could have done with DIY. Again, like you said, that friction now that is going on with them, that's just going to make it so much better. You have a reason to care about DIY. And I also kind of felt like Motor City Machine Guns, and I had said this quite a few times, but I almost felt like they hadn't found their identity in WWE. Like they were also sort of presented as like wrestlers that you respect, and you respect everything that they've done, but they were coming across as just wrestler guys on WWE. So it almost felt like, I don't know, that felt like there was a group of people that were really into them as tag team champions, but then it kind of felt like the majority were just kind of like, all right, this is what we're getting, so we're cool with it, but not necessarily losing their minds over it. It felt like that the first week, but it didn't feel like that it didn't feel like that momentum sort of continued. Like the buzz wasn't there the following week. And I feel that they felt this too, and they had to make that change and just pull the plug and say, hey, we're going to go back to DIY, but a better, more enhanced version of DIY. Because, yeah, DIY, like you said, also was the wrestler guys, and there was nothing there. But at least now there's a reason to care about them, a reason to look at them a little differently.
Well, and that's WWE, right? Like you can't just be a wrestler guy. In the indies, sure, maybe AEW to a certain extent, because that's sort of what they leaned into and what their branding is, real sports kind of deal. But in WWE, it's always been about character on top of that, and then the wrestling is saved for the marquee shows, for the real displays of that. So no one is ever going to come through without some charisma, without some
don't ever.
personality.
So don't tell me, and you don't tell me that his life.
From antagonist, protagonist, all those things. That is the WWE.
So you and
No, it
you
really is,
don't
though.
tell
We
me
kind of
that
said this
his
before, like,
life,
in
your
order to
life
become,
is worth
like,
more than
the
his.
WWE superstar, like, you gotta check off a bunch of freaking boxes, man. The stars gotta align. Just so much shit has to happen for it to, like, really skyrocket for you. But
You
thank you so much to Bailey Darley. We got David Camaro who says Meechin versus Chelsea for the finals. Make it happen. We also have Brandon Rosen who says Chelsea versus Tiffany needs to happen. So I'm seeing a lot of Chelsea, but who she's going to be on the opposite side with, that's the question. We got Bailey Darley here who says
A lot of people
2025 is
predicted
gonna be
Meechin
great.
and
Yes, it
Chelsea.
is.
Someone
And if you're
predicted
wondering
Bailey
why
and
that
Tiffany.
is, I
Someone
did do
said
a
Chelsea
video
and Chelsea.
titled 10
A lot
exciting
of
things
fans
that are
want
happening in
Chelsea.
pro
Some
wrestling
fans
in
want
2025.
Tiffany.
That video
Some people
is
said
up
it could
right
be
now
Bailey.
on the channel if you guys want to check it out. It's a fun one. Just kind of broke down things that we have actually means. I do think a lot of people understood that more in terms of like trade.
Yeah, and to me that would be there's words matter, right? And there's a big difference between the word trade and the word trade. Like in free agents,
with Chad Gable and Cody Rhodes, kind of Chad Gable was telling Cody, like, you are a terrible person. level. But this all led to a matchup that happened at the end of the show, which was our main event. A pretty nice little matchup. Cody Rhodes gets his victory, of course, but afterwards, Kevin Owens comes out and attacks him, and they start this brawl. However, in between that, we had this very cool segment, which I liked the way that we kind of broke the mold here. In that Kevin Owens, you know how he's been doing all of his interviews and stuff from the car. Yeah. He basically told Michael Cole, like, come out here and do this interview, right? And it was funny because Michael Cole was like, I don't want to go out there, it's cold. I started thinking, like, damn, bro, you drive over there, give us need to jump on his ship, because when he played that whole video showing all his receipts about how all of the things that Roman Reigns did to him and how Cody Rhodes still stood by his side, even though he's friends with Kevin Owens. And then this week, I almost felt like Michael Cole was sort of gaslighting Kevin Owens and basically making him seem like this is all his fault. And they mentioned one of my favorite quotes, which is "A friend to all is a friend to none," and I love it because Taylor Swift used it in one of her songs, so it stuck with me forever. But we were listening to that in commentary, and I thought, like, okay, even though he's saying that, hey, Kevin Owens is super petty and this and that, I really, really kind of like that Kevin Owens has been making some great points, and he has.
You feel he is justified or not? You feel he is justified. So, I mean, I think that echoes the.
Kevin Owens, even though he's going to lose in the sense that he's going to lose the match and he's not going to win the title, I have a feeling he's going to win, but like in a different way.
Yeah, well, because otherwise you're kind of squashing. Like you're doing all this for no reason, right? And that I think would be short-sighted, given that the character of Kevin Owens and how effective he's been. Now, he's always kind of been that utility player for them. You know, the jack of all trades, master of none, in the sense where, oh, we can throw him in any match and in between, and he's a believable build-up guy, but we're never actually strapping him up. And maybe it is the Sami Zayn thing that they go to. So maybe, something happens that costs him and further snaps him, so he really goes after his old friend, and that's his next. I just don't think you can extinguish what you've done with Kevin Owens. Like, to go into that match, him lose clean, then where does he go from here? Like, why do we care about it? That's I think, the peril that.
Yeah, and I think given the fact that all of the same things he's saying about Cody, you could literally copy and paste Sami Zayn's name in there as well, because it's like, okay, Sami also helped out Roman Reigns. Sami was also there, and Sami's also your friend. So yeah, like literally, you can swap out Cody's name and put Sami in there. So I feel like all of that has just been, something that, I think you're right. I do think that we could circle back again to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, even though we've been there 100 times. It still feels to be, we kind of accepted the fact that they're going to be feuding forever for whatever reason. But it's so funny because I got so many people here that are like, yes, Kevin Owens. And then there's people that are like, no, I hate Kevin Owens. So it's kind of a mixture here of what we are experiencing. People are really sort of torn on this Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes situation. Let's see what else we got here. We got Stephen Marchuli, who says, I wonder if champions get to float. That's like, there's still so many questions. I mean, they still, no.
Yeah, I mean, again, I it feels a little Wild West.
That were essentially, appearance. So we need to get into this whole portion too. It's funny because I had it at the top of my nose, but with everything sort of, we got this Smackdown was kind of newsworthy, as you can tell. We had all this time to talk about the transfer window, but unfortunately, though, there were 3 injuries that were essentially, they informed us about here today, some of which you already knew some of them just based off of what we saw. But 3 people, though, are pretty much out indefinitely until they return. One of them is Bronson Reed. Oh, I'm so bummed, Robin. Not Bronson Reed. Like, this was his year. But unfortunately, he's out with a broken foot, and he is going to have surgery next week. What is just had surgery, and it was a torn bicep. And then we have Jimmy Uso with a broken toe. And yeah, so those 3 people are out, and that all culminated at War Games. So War Games kind of cost them a lot. It cost them 3 people, which is a serious bummer, man, because these 3 people are all kind of part of big stuff. For all of them, the bloodline stuff, but Bronson was, in this breakout point Uso, part of the the original bloodline, and who knows what plans they had for him. So yeah, this is kind of like you can tell some things are going to be derailed here.
Well, they put their bodies on the line in that match, and it was an excellent spot, the Bronson Reed spot. But it's also like, I mean, I hate to say it, kind of duh. He's such a big guy to be coming from that high. The chances of injury, the risk is enormous. Like if you're calculating that just in advance.
It was the landing, like just like he was supposed to land on his stomach completely, but I guess it just happens. Like look what happened to Adam Copeland. Like when he did that spot off the steel cage, and he talked about it afterwards in an interview where he said that like he got up there, and once he got up there, like the plan sort of changed. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like once you're up there and once you're in the air, your body just makes different decisions. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's so when you fall forward, you put your hands out to brace yourself. You often place your wrist towards your hand that way. That's the natural human instinct. When you're falling, your natural human instinct is to land on your feet. It's like if you're tripping, you don't like automatically go to your stomach. Boom. Like you try to catch yourself on your feet. It's called a trip because you didn't catch yourself on your feet. So yes, in a sense, we see people execute super fly splashes.
Read a little bit more just because again he was on the precipice of something really going down for him. Somebody mentioned on Blue Sky, they were telling me like, yeah, man, like Bronson Reed, you knew he was gonna have that really cool Royal Rumble spot where he takes out a bunch of guys, and then you got all the guys who try to take him out. Like you knew that was gonna be the Bronson Reed spot. So yeah, this is definitely unfortunate for Bronson, Tangaloa, and Uso. Wishing them all the very best. We got Sarah here who says, any advice for me going to the show next? Sarah, the same thing. I've never had any
basically New Day. It was the entire purpose.
Really went for it, and it's we suffer from earthquakes here in California all the time, and it is very scary. So I think reset.
It is in that match, and obviously
Back on poor Chelsea Green, who at his day is AEW and Reg.
$365 until you get big enough where you can hire everybody to do the.
Emma will call me and she'll be like, "Oh, are you working?"
At least we know. At first, I didn't know until I looked it up just now. DIY turns heel. Thought that was great. They needed something. At least we know why they won the belt, because they turned heel. Gargano is now aligned with Ciampa. They're both heels. They're tag team champion. Hope they have him for a while.
T-shirt, hot off the press. Also get you an old school jump.
Last time they won it, last time DI won it, they were baby faces, but they had like a month. They were transitional champions. So let's hope they had a pretty good reign as heels. I was hoping it would lead to Ciampa turn on Gargano, but I guess they want DIY to stay more, to stay a team longer, because they were babyface, they were faced for like over a year, and then Ciampa would turn heel. He could bring Gargano to turn heel, and they won tag team titles. Something had to happen to spice things up a little bit. So I'm glad.
Very smart.
At least we got something to talk about on Smackdown here.
Now they tend to heat up a little more often. And when that show was over on Monday night, I said, one thing you cannot say, whatever you thought of Monday Night Raw, is that WWE phoned that show in, because that's the last thing they did. Raw was an excellent show on Monday night. This tonight was the post-Survivor Series edition of Smackdown. And so one of the biggest questions that I had coming into it is, what would the follow-up be in terms of the Bloodline story? Because we had the main event on Saturday, Roman Reigns pinning Solo Sikoa. We had the OG Bloodline standing tall. What would the repercussions be for Solo Sikoa with Jacob Fatu at the Tongas, right? What would be the next big development in this story? One of the things that we did not show tonight was any real development on that front. We have the new bloodline on the show. We'll talk about why that is here in a second. They were on the show. They were wreaking havoc, trying to reestablish their dominance. What WWE tried to do tonight was have Solo Sikoa basically put his foot down and say, I am not a joke. I am somebody to be taken seriously, and you are going to take me seriously. It's a little hard to do when Solo goes in there and in virtually every big match that he has, he loses, as he did at Survivor Series when he ate the pin from Roman Reigns. There was no Roman Reigns on this show tonight. Jimmy Uso was hurt. He wasn't there. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, they're part of Monday Night Raw. So we had no members of the OG were there.
There was no Paul Heyman.
Solo was there. That was all we got. So if you tuned into the show tonight looking for any major developments as far as the bloodline goes, and you would not be mistaken in thinking that there would be because the bloodline is all over the show, you were disappointed by tonight's show. I was not. I felt like Raw and SmackDown this week were both excellent shows, but in their own way. I thought both shows delivered in a way that they haven't in a very long time. Sometimes you get a good Raw and a shitty SmackDown, or a shitty Raw and a good SmackDown. And I enjoyed both shows this week. And the biggest development coming out of this show actually had nothing to do at all with the bloodline. And it had everything to do with this new development going into the new year for Monday Night Raw and for SmackDown, where we have brand trades that are incoming. We have what was referred to tonight as the transfer window. Interestingly, this was the first time this has ever been mentioned. We had the draft back in, May? No trades. I was hoping for some trade activity throughout the year here and there with Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. Nope, they didn't have any of that. I think actually that they dropped the ball big time on that. Now all of a sudden that we're heading into the new year, there's this transfer window. So this is the first time that we were hearing about this tonight. But it has been open like a portal. It's like the forbidden door in WWE has been open now. Between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. That's a bit of a joke because over the last couple of months, people have been moving freely back and forth between Monday and Friday. But now they're formalizing it where the general managers of all three brands, including NXT, are putting their heads together and having conversations, having discussions about potential trades, moving talent around, because Raw is moving to Netflix on January 6th. Although WWE hasn't confirmed this yet, it's very likely, 99.9%, moving back in 3 hours. SmackDown is also reportedly going to be moving first time to 3 hours as of January. Now, I don't know if it'll be on that very first SmackDown on January 3rd or if it'll be a little bit later on. But the belief is that both shows are going to be 3 hours coming. And if that's the case, and you've heard me talk about this, where if you're going to have both shows at 3 hours, then you have to move people up from NXT. You have to move up women. The women's division, you have to move up 1 or 2 tag teams at least. There's going to have to be talent in the main roster to account for the extra television time. So this all makes sense, and I think that's the right move. I think that's something they should be doing anyway. But I love it. I love that they're doing this. I love that we don't have to wait for some silly draft to move pieces around and move people to where they need to be, move people to where they're going to make the shows better. This is why I was calling for there to be more trades and things like this throughout the year involving the GM, so you don't have to just wait for that one time a year to be able to move some people around. So now we're going to be hearing about this transfer portal over the next several weeks. I don't get the impression that any actual moves are going to be made until we get to that first week in January. But it does now open up a lot of very interesting possibilities, including, for example, tonight, there was a backstage segment where we had the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, who was meeting with Nick Aldis. Now, what they were meeting about, we don't know. Gunther left with a smirk on his face. We never actually heard anything from him, but Might we see champions? Might we even see world champions being shifted over from one brand to the other? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that's probably very unlikely, if for no other reason, because they went through all of this trouble to get the branding all uniform among all their championships, right? I mean, look at the titles on Raw. They all look like the World Heavyweight title. And on SmackDown, all the belts look the same. Are they really going to fuck all that up by taking one champion here and one champion there and moving them? Probably not. But one thing I am expecting is that we're going to see some big names moving. For example, Roman Reigns. There's been talk about Roman Reigns appearing more often in the new year on Monday Night Raw. And why not? Why wouldn't Netflix, who's paying $5 billion for the rights to Monday Night Raw, the most important period in the history of Raw, is coming up next month. Why wouldn't they want the biggest names possible on their show? Roman Reigns is the biggest name possible that you can think of. You got Roman and you got Cody. And right now, they're both on SmackDown. You don't think that at least one of them is not going to make the shift over to Monday Night Raw? And if it's not going to be the champion because they don't want to move the title, that would leave Roman Reigns. Does Roman Reigns move over to Netflix? Does the Bloodline story move over to Netflix? What about other names like Seth Rollins and CM Punk? You kind of have to keep them both on the same brand. Might the two of them move from Raw to SmackDown? But if Netflix wants all the big names, are they going to want Roman and Cody and Punk? Like, we don't know. I'm sure if Netflix had their say, they would get everybody on the show. I don't think USA Network would be very happy about that. So it's going to be very interesting to see where people end up. But I would actually be kind of surprised, to be honest with you, if we don't get Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw come January of 2025. So this whole situation now, it opens up a lot of different possibilities. Well, we'll be talking more about this in the weeks to come. What we have to talk about tonight, in addition to this transfer portal stuff, is the fact that we now have new WWE Tag Team Champions. And I'm pretty sure these two are going to be staying put right where they are on SmackDown. But the DIY heel turn is complete. How about that? The New Day and DIY. Two of the biggest babyface teams in the entire company. And they go. And now Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are your new tag team champions. The Motor City Machine Guns' short, very uneventful run has come to an end. But I loved it. I love what they did here on the show. And it played out pretty much exactly the way that I figured it would. Some people thought they were going to break up DIY. They are not broken up. It always was going to be a case for Johnny to come around to the way that Tommaso Ciampa was thinking. And I thought the way they did it tonight was actually very smart.
Yeah.
One of the things that really stands out to me about tonight's show was that they tried things in a little bit of a different way. Right? We had the DIY ruse. We had this surprise tag team title change. We had at one point the Bloodline, attacking LA Knight and Andrade. We had Kevin Owens being interviewed by Michael Cole in a car in the parking lot. Like, there were different things that happened on the show tonight and the way they did them that were a little unusual. It was a little out of their comfort zone. They broke up the formula. I love it when they break up the formula. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And this show tonight had that feeling to me, like, okay, they're trying things a little bit differently, or things that we might not normally see here on the show. We also had another match, the final first-round match in the Women's United States Championship Tournament. Speaking of surprises, you may not have been surprised. I was surprised by the outcome of this match. I definitely was caught off guard by that. But they were in when you think of Minnesota, you think of the governor, you think of the body, you think of Jesse the Body Ventura. And guess who was in the front row tonight at SmackDown watching the show? There he was, the man of the day. Because this morning, Jesse Ventura made news. WWE made it official that Jesse the Body Ventura will not only be a part of Saturday night's main event next weekend, but he will be a part of every Saturday night's main event special that they do going forward. And there's already a second one announced for next month. But he will officially be part of the announce team on that show. Now, they have not specified exactly what he will be doing, if it's going to be a match, 2 matches, backstage interviews, because he used to do those too. They didn't. That show, come on. So I was very happy to hear that news. And again, they're going all out with Saturday night's main event as far as throwbacks. And that show next weekend. It's gonna be like a pay-per-view around here. We're gonna locked, remote.
What do we compare? That's a good question. Hey, what the hell?
Oh, we can't get EO doing her moonsault. We can't get. Told us would be a commercial-free first 30 minutes of the show, just like Raw on Monday night, open with the commercial-free 30 minutes. Now, this was going to end tonight. As soon as I saw Chad Gable walk out of the show, I knew exactly how this was going to end. Keep us in a bit.
FCA is experiencing growth like we've never seen before. And we're going to have a good time, dude.
Now let's see what JD from New York has to say. I'm only gonna show some of it. $15 minutes.
To happen. We've already reported that several times. WWE is acting as if there is a brand split, that there are separate rosters, but they're also acting at the same time like there isn't. I don't really know why. They just might as well just forego it completely, not even mention it, and just do what you got to do and have everybody just appear wherever the fuck they want to appear. But WWE did tonight. They did announce that trades will be happening. And trade deadline is happening, and there will be roster moves. And that all three GMs, Ava from NXT, on Raw, and Nick Aldis from SmackDown, have all been corroborating. They've all been discussing that there will be moves as we move into the Netflix era of Monday Night Raw, where Raw will probably be closer to 3 hours than it is 2 hours, and SmackDown. That is the plan right now. So the biggest question is why? We need a little bit more roster on Friday night. Monday night could probably get away with what? And present them a little bit different than what they've been presented as. That's a great move. I've been asking for this. Monster laughed at me twice on Tuesday when I said, LA Knight, what do we do with him if he wins the United States Championship back? Chad Gable. He thought I was on drugs. He thought I was on drugs, man. And then he laughed at me a second time in the same stream on Tuesday. Looks like it's coming to fruition, man. It may be more of a reality than we think. And what about Drew McIntyre? You guys know I called Drew McIntyre being moved over to Friday Night SmackDown because I said coming out of Hell in a Cell and his feud with CM Punk, how could they coexist on the same brand? It's just fucking stupid. You don't think they're going to cross paths? Like, why wouldn't Drew McIntyre randomly just go after CM Punk, man? You think, oh, because he lost the Hell in a Cell match that he's not going to want to go after CM Punk? So maybe we move Drew McIntyre over to Friday Night SmackDown. I like it. Maybe we get all the champions moving from Raw to SmackDown and then SmackDown to Raw. We could have a whole flip-flop. We could have Cody on Monday night. Gunther was shown. Gunther was legitimately shown backstage tonight. He didn't wrestle on tonight's show. He didn't have an interview or a promo. He was shown talking to Nick Aldis. What does that mean? Is WWE trading champions? Are we going to see all the champions from Raw end up on SmackDown and all the champions on SmackDown end up on Raw? I know they wanted to differentiate the brands with the title. The WWE titles on SmackDown, the World Heavyweight Championships on Monday Night Raw. Could we see all the championships flip-flop? It would be a little silly if we see, the WWE champion on Monday Night Raw, and it's been a SmackDown championship for a very long time, and then the World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown, and then nothing else changes. Maybe that's what they're doing. But then it doesn't cohesively go together with all the other championships. All the other championships are similar looking. All the other championships have similar names. Can't just do one and not the others. Could we be looking at WWE flip-flopping all the champions? I don't know. Intercontinental Championship on Friday Night SmackDown and the United States Championship on Monday night. There's going to be a very interesting situation to follow, but trades are happening. Drew McIntyre to SmackDown, I thought would be a great move. Chad Gable and All of American Made moving over to SmackDown. I think that's a great move. Maybe we see Carmella move over to Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Mellow sounds pretty fucking good to me, man. It's got a nice ring to it. LA Knight potentially moving over to Monday Night Raw. I could see him on Netflix. So we'll see what happens there. NXT is going to be part of this move as well. I could absolutely see Trick Williams lose the NXT Championship to Rich Holland on Saturday night for NXT Deadline. I will not be covering it. That's happening in Minneapolis. He could absolutely lose that championship, get called up. I could see him getting called up anyway in the next 6 months, so why not just do it now? We also have Roxanne Perez. She's about due to get called up. She would fit like a glove on either Raw or SmackDown. I could see Sol Ruka get called up. Cora Jade get called up. WWE's got a lot of young, ready talent ready for the main roster. So who knows what moves are going to be made with this trade deadline. Roster moves will be made from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw, NXT to both Raw and SmackDown. So it's going to be a very interesting situation to follow, but I'm glad that they're doing it. One of the other reasons why they are doing it and why we're seeing this now is because we're back to both shows being on separate entities. Raw's going to be on Netflix and SmackDown's going to be on USA Network. Right now, both shows are coexisting on the USA Network because Monday Night needed a home in the short term before they make the full transition to Netflix. So right now, the brand split doesn't even really matter because they're both on the same network. So when they move Monday Night Raw to Netflix and SmackDown stays on the USA Network, not only are they going to 3 hours, but they're going to be on separate networks. And both networks are going to want different rosters. Netflix is obviously going to want a better roster because Monday Night Raw is now the flagship show once again, where SmackDown was the flagship show for the last 5 years being on Fox, which was more notable than the USA Network. But now the tides have switched back to what it used to be. Monday Night is now the A show, and Netflix is going to want everybody and anybody on that show because they're paying premium plus price for the WWE product. And they're going to want their own roster, they're going to want their own stars, and they're not going to want to share with SmackDown. So as long as the top stars are appearing on Netflix, I think everything would be okay. So they're going to need to figure out who's going to be where to make both networks, both partners happy. So I can also see that coming into play as well. So I like this move, not because of the internal politics and the network politics and all this other bullshit. I like the move because if they're both going for 3 hours, if Raw and SmackDown are going for 3 hours, then we're going to need to bolster the roster and add a little bit more than what we're getting right now. Because both shows are at 2 hours and you're not really getting a whole... But I like the frenetic... They're going about it in a very... Tiffany Stratton, hometown favorite tonight as they were in Minneapolis. And Elektra Lopez, kind of an L creative move by WWE. I wasn't really expecting Tiffany Stratton to go over, but it does open up the possibility now to Naomi growing some jealousy and feeling resentment towards her friends, Bianca and Bayley, and just get angry that she's kind of fallen short for the last 12 months. Maybe she is the one who attacked Jade Cargill and took her out because she needs something to happen and she's just finished.
She's done playing Miss Nice One. So we'll talk about that. We have Bianca Belair and Piper Niven in a very good women's match tonight. And Cody Rhodes went one-on-one with Chad Gable from Monday Night Raw, as well as Kevin Owens having a sit-down interview with Michael Cole inside his rental car, which was great. Loved it. Setting the table for Saturday night's main event. But we got a lot to get into tonight, guys. I appreciate you joining me here on your Friday nights. We got 1,900 and counting still in here. So thank you guys very much for joining me. Second, you can leave me a comment down. And even commentary. They announced today that Jesse the Body Ventura is going to be a guest commentator for Saturday night's main event next Saturday at the Nassau Coliseum. I'm more excited about this show now than I was Survivor Series. It's going to be a big deal. Can't wait to share it with you guys. We will be live immediately following Saturday night's main event next Saturday. So that was announced. There is also rumors that WWE could get Wendy Richter, and WWE could be bringing in Jimmy Neidhart, or not Jimmy Neidhart, Jimmy Hart and Hulk Hogan. So that is the rumor mill. But we'll see what happens with that. But they are looking to make a big deal out of Saturday night's main event. And they've already announced the next Saturday night's main event, January 25th, which will be, now that I'm thinking about it, we just announced a House of Glory show on January 25th. Oh my God, man, they just announced a Saturday night's main event this week in San Antonio, Texas. We got that happening 1 week before the Royal Rumble. So they're going big for the next 6 to 8 weeks, man. It's going to be a big deal. I did not forget Jesse Ventura. I just mentioned Jesse Ventura. Does Troy Stallman in the chat have a hearing problem? I just literally mentioned Jesse Ventura. Just literally mentioned Jesse Ventura about
Well, you
5
spit
minutes
on my
ago.
comment and you spit on videos.
This is why I don't even bother looking at the chat half the
Real
fucking
quick,
time.
a lot of people.
Oh, but what about that? I just mentioned that. Oh, what about that? I just mentioned that. Then I got people in the comments like, oh, you didn't talk about it. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Otherwise, I get annoyed. I start blocking.
I don't get it.
I'm
Rewind exists, people.
TikTok has people spam my comments.
I got my notes right here.
I get annoyed. I get angry.
Fucking Christ.
I'm just gonna block you.
Anyway, Chad Gable's music hit, and Gable made his entrance, and he was out there with American Made. Gable spoke from the aisleway. Told everybody in the crowd simple-minded and gullible. And then entered the ring. Crowd in Minneapolis were chanting, "You suck, you suck." Gable said Cody was once the beacon for what Gable wanted to be. Unmatched work ethic, dressing the in the ground and bury it forever. That was awful. You guys remember Shorty G?
Yeah.
I wish I did. Cody even realized that when he said it, he knew the crowd was going to chant it, and he kind of tried to dumb the crowd down. And then he brought up the fact that, listen, you were Shorty G, remember me? I was Stardust. So we got a Stardust chant. Cody says he knows all about what Gable is going through, and he said Gable probably thinks he has nothing to lose. But Cody asks Gable what happens when he fails again. Cody referenced losing in WrestleMania 39 and asked Gable about being the leader of American Made. He put over everyone in American Made. Talked about Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, Ivy Nile, all being big superstar potential. Gable cut him off. He said, whoa, if I didn't have a suit on, I'd whoop your ass. Cody asked Gable, what did you say? Did you really say what I heard? Cody asked Gable to talk to Nick Aldis about going one-on-one with him tonight. Cody threw the mic at Gable, and the segment came to a close. WWE has broken their own draft and brand split rules
WWE
so many
has
times that
debuted 5 months.
normally I would be the first person in the community to complain about what's going on. I don't like it. I wish they'd stick to it. I wish they'd have separate brands and just leave it as is.
But you want to know what happened?
I do think if they wanted to end the brand split completely, that everything would be great. Everything would be great.
Also, Wicked Channel.
It would give WWE a world of opportunity. Instead of having the same matches occur on a bi-weekly basis, it would be a whole new WWE if we didn't have a draft. But like I said, the most important aspect of what we do here is both brands are their own commodity. It's their own piece of business. Raw is a separate brand, Smackdown is a separate brand. They're on separate networks. Netflix wants their own show. Netflix wants their own roster. USA Network wants their own brand, and they want their own roster. So they have to stick to it based off the networks. But you see how better television is if we have everybody at the tip of our fingers to use. We wouldn't need divisions. Tag team division would be great. The women's division would be fucking unbelievable. The only thing I would keep separate is the World Championship.
We don't want the guy to know that we're after.
That's it.
Well, we
I mean, it could work. If you want to keep even the World Championships and the Mid-Card Championships.
We know where the guy is. He probably wants to be.
U.S. title, Intercontinental Championship on their separate brands. It's fine.
Maybe
WWE could do it. They could get away with it. So I love if they actually just not even mention it. Let's go into WrestleMania season, just all hands on deck. Don't even give a shit about it. Come April or May, do a draft, and go back to having separate rosters, whatever the case may be. WWE, they just went about this very lax, didn't even mention it, didn't announce it. This one shows up on the wrong show. That one shows up on the wrrong show. It's like a fucking free-for-all, man. It's happened so many times, and I've complained about it so many times that every time I complain about it, it goes nowhere.
Yes.
So WWE is only keeping the brand separate because I'm assuming the networks are going to have a major say in what goes on. Dingy furniture, all scrapped. Is going at Naomi until she.
Well, I made it like an hour long, so we did get AEW Rampage tonight. Daniel Garcia, we got Chris Jericho, Ring of Honor champion. It confirmed by Matt Cardona. Got Classic Blue, Ring Kasana, Okada. We got the full recap, the highlights for SmackDown. Now this was after the show with Kevin Owens attacking Cody Rhodes after Cody beat Chad Gable. Went like 9 minutes. That's pretty short. Nick Aldis made some match for Carmelo Hayes against a new opponent or something. Maybe my Wrestle Gunter, I don't know. I think that's about it. This might be it, I think.
Which
Enough of these damn commercials.
I joined the IB.
I really do hate these commercials, man.
It's like the Cody Rhodes or John Cena of that women's division. She's super protected. So realistically, even with the out of the injured rib, because the out was right there. Like if she lost, nobody is going to look at her any less. She came in with injured ribs. They still didn't give it to Piper. I'm not surprised by that. But in the back after, Bianca is walking, and she ran into Naomi. And by the way, don't think I didn't see in the background Nick Aldis having a conversation with Dominic Mysterio. Right, trying to play up the transfer portal. It was very brief, but it was clear as day in the background. So Bianca said, look, she was very sorry to see.
But Naomi had the match won, but Naomi ends up being a loser. She did not take the pinfall, which is something that you should really take focus on. Naomi did not take the pinfall. It was Elektra Lopez who took the losing fall here. Now, I was surprised because I think a lot of people had predicted Bayley and Naomi in the finals. Now, I don't know where we're going. I really don't. This definitely makes things a lot more unpredictable. Because next week we got Chelsea Green and Bayley, Michin and Tiffany Stratton. It is easy to think. We all predicted Naomi to win this thing. We all predicted Bayley and Naomi in the finals. It could very well still be Bayley in the finals without Naomi. They could go with the bigger matchup here of the two. They could go Bayley and Tiffany. Are they going to go with the bigger matchup here? Or are they going to go and do even more unpredictable creative and move on with Michin and Chelsea Green in the final? Because I could absolutely see Chelsea Green and Michin in the final, and I could see Chelsea getting her revenge on Michin to win the United States Championship. You cannot look at it and say, nah, they're not going to do that because Bayley and Tiffany are the biggest stars. Chelsea Green has obviously proven herself to be a commodity, proven herself throughout the year in some great spots. She's been great with her character work. She's gotten herself organically over. I didn't think that they were going to do someone like Chelsea immediately to win the United States Championship. I thought that they would put her on someone like Bayley, have someone bigger establish the title, and then put it on someone like Chelsea Green or Michin or someone lower on the card to build their star power up a little bit with the championship. But it looks like we may be going to a rematch from the dumpster match with Chelsea Green and Michin at Saturday night's main event, which would be great. I have no problem with that. And I think a lot of people are going to be on board if Chelsea is the first ever United States champion. Because why does Tiffany need the United States Championship when she has the Money in the Bank briefcase? She doesn't need that, which is why I'm kind of surprised that she won here. But they're going obviously with the babyface Michin versus the heel Tiffany Stratton. So let me know how you guys think it's gonna play out. I'm kind of leaning towards that now. Honestly, that I mentioned and now I'm talking about it, I'm leaning towards Chelsea Green and Michin for the finals. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's happening with Naomi. She lost again. The fact that she lost, it made me think maybe they are really pushing her towards the heel turn. Maybe she is the one who attacked Jade Cargill. Maybe she is going to turn on Bayley. I thought it would happen in that match and we get Bayley versus Naomi in the finals for the United States Championship. But looks like WWE may have other plans here. So I'm going with Tiffany Stratton and Michin, with Michin getting the victory. I'm going Chelsea and Bayley. I'm going with Chelsea getting the victory. I'm going with a Chelsea and Michin final. Bianca Belair. She wrestled Piper Niven, which was the better of the two women's matches tonight, by far. But before we got that, it was a backstage segment where Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins were shown laid out. Nick Aldis was there and said they both needed medical attention badly. Nobody knows who. A lot of people are getting attacked backstage in WWE. We got this shit even happening on NXT. So backstage is nowhere you want to be, man. It's not safe at all. Jade Cargill got taken out. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins got taken out. Jey Uso got taken out on Monday Night Raw. Eddie Thorpe got taken out on NXT this past Tuesday. Who the fuck did that? Who? Yeah, I don't know either. But I watch. I don't give a shit. What I watch puts me to sleep nice and quick, does NXT. God, does that show suck. You know, I still get people telling me, JD, you should move Tuesday Night Titans to Thursday to watch NXT. It's gotten so much better. No, it hasn't. NXT sucks. NXT is not a good show. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
So lame.
I didn't watch it either.
The writing is so bad. And the main event scene is fucking offensive. They didn't have their women's division, man. My God, I don't even want to know where NXT would be. So who took out the Street Profits?
Was it the Bloodline?
I don't know. Aldis ran into Motor City Machine Guns and told them the Profits got to attack the matches off. Johnny Gargano, conveniently there, showed up and said if Aldis needs a title match, DIY can step in. Shelly said, if Gargano wants this match, they got it. Nick Aldis. And then he told Johnny Gargano, tell Tommaso Ciampa, don't let me regret my decision. Bianca Belair. She went one-on-one with Piper Niven. This was one of the best matches of the night, to be quite honest with you, right under Cody and Chad Gable. This was great.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair has always been great. Piper Niven is very underappreciated. Very underappreciated.
Yeah.
But I do like what she brings to the table. And I
Yeah.
think the pairing with her and Chelsea is a great pairing, and it does get Piper Niven more heat than she would get on her own.
Yeah.
Because Chelsea is so good at what she does. But this was very good. If the United States Championship is going to give way to matches like this for the undercard, we are going to be in a good place for the women's division.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
If this is the type of match that we are going to get when the United States Championship finally hits the scene and we crown a champion, if this is the end result and we get matches like this, we will be in a good place. We just need to build up some more names and get some more notoriety to some of those names and star power to some of those names and build everybody up equally. Giving all the opportunities to WWE's usual suspects, instead of WWE going back to their tried and true, the big 4 or 5, they need to continue to build up everybody else under the Biancas and under the Charlottes and under the Beckys and under the Rheas.
You know, people are tired.
So hopefully
The more you keep
WWE
giving, you know, I
was
understand Charlotte the
watching
big name.
very
The more you keep giving
closely
to Charlotte,
to not
it's just
only this
making
match,
it
but
worse.
the fan reaction to this match.
No one,
This
no
is
one
exactly what we need.
It's Charlotte being
This was a
champion.
very good.
And her matches.
Bianca had the control early. And both Bianca and Piper Niven were fighting over Bianca's braid. Niven won the battle, hit a splash on Belair, took advantage. Niven worked over Belair in the corner. She lifted her up for a slam, but Belair countered with a kick to the face. Belair ran the ropes. Green caught Belair's foot, who was on the outside. Niven followed that up with a sidewalk slam. She goes for a cover. She gets a 2 count. And we go into a commercial break. They didn't go to commercial break, at least for the first 30 minutes. I don't know if they promoted the first 30 minutes being commercial free, but this was the first commercial break of the night. 38 minutes in.
Are you kidding me?
Chuck comes back and Piper Niven had control. Belair tried to fire up. Piper Niven cut her off with a running twice. That was enough to earn a 2 count. Not quite. Niven worked a waist lock, which she then transitioned into a bear hug on Bianca. Belair fought her way out of it, eventually tried to choke out Niven, till Niven shook Belair off and went for a big splash. Belair moved. Belair ran between the corners and smashed Niven's face off the turnbuckles. Belair then went to the top, hits a nice-looking crossbody for a close near fall. Belair punched Niven repeatedly, and before long hit a spear for a 2 count. Belair tried to lift Niven up for her finish, but that didn't work for Piper Niven, and Niven countered with a Saito belly-to-back suplex. Piper Niven ran at Belair, and Belair countered with a spinebuster. Belair went for a moonsault, but Niven got her knees up. Niven then went for a cannonball. Belair moved, and Niven tumbled into the corner. Belair then ran at Niven, and Piper caught Belair for a beautiful Piper driver, which almost got the job done, man. Sit-out powerbomb looked great. That got a chant of, this is awesome. Niven went to the second rope. Belair cut Niven off. Chelsea Green all of a sudden hops on the ring apron. Belair dragged Chelsea into the ring. Belair then successfully lifted Piper Niven, who was on the second turnbuckle looking for a Piper bomb, or Niven bomb.
Feeling clarity and clear. It's like
people and just establish the bloodline's dominance. What I was wondering though is, you know, it's like if they didn't put the championship on Nakamura, Jacob Fatu would make a great United States champion. If that's the direction they wanted to go in, you could have had him, you know, maybe beat LA Knight and win that championship. And he'll have titles in his future. But that would have been something to have Jacob Fatu wind up in that spot. Nakamura getting the championship, it's not something that you can really even entertain. Either he's going to have time to have a decent length run, or the title is just going to go right back to LA. It's going to be one or the other. But hey, look, I enjoyed their efforts to try to put more heat on Solo Sikoa, but like I said, I think that ship has sailed, and the quicker we can get to the match with him and Roman, the better off we'll. And backstage, we had a conversation that was ongoing between the members of DIY. Johnny Gargano
holding the women's championship hostage, which we should be booking to take that belt off of her and put it on Tiffany Stratton. But story is key. We need to add some solid story to the division. And I like what WWE's doing as of late. They're making it feel a little bit better than it was 3, even 4 months ago. We got a video package on Shinsuke Nakamura winning the United States Championship. And we'll get to Nakamura in a second because we got him coming up in just a little bit. Bianca Belair, after her match, she was shown walking backstage and she ran into Naomi. Naomi, who lost her quarterfinal match against Tiffany Stratton and Elektra Lopez. Belair apologized for Naomi losing. Byron Saxton showed up and told the two that he knew Piper didn't attack Cargill because he saw where Niven was during the attack, so we can take Piper Niven's name off of the inquiry list. She's not a suspect anymore via Byron Saxton. So now that leaves Naomi, that leaves Candice, Nia, Liv, Raquel, Naomi, Bailey, and Bianca. I mean, it could be any one of these women. I mean, Liv and Raquel, that would be kind of lame. Candice LeRae would be lame. Bianca, now you got my attention. Bailey, now you got my attention. Naomi, now you got my attention. Top 3 suspects in this attack on Jade Cargill. Naomi and Bianca Belair. Top 3 suspects, in no particular order. Shinsuke Nakamura. I was very vocal about giving Shinsuke Nakamura the United States Championship. I didn't understand it on Saturday night when we reviewed Survivor Series, because there wasn't really any story. He just comes back, he's got this new look. Same type of gimmick, but new look. Love the look. Nothing about the look I had a problem with. It was just a creative decision. The guy gets brought back. We're not really invested in him because he's been presented like a loser the last few months out. He hasn't wrestled since April. Seemingly disappeared. Before that, he didn't really do much of anything. Feud against Cody, lost. Feud against Rollins, he lost. He's basically used to prop and get everybody else over. I still don't like the creative decision. I don't. But I can sit here tonight and tell you that Nakamura and his entire presentation is immaculate. It's fucking great. The video, the lighting, the mood, the ambiance, the mask, the way he's presented. It's almost like
in this way.
he's definitely channeling his Japanese roots. He's definitely taking a vibe from Great Muta, which is not a bad thing whatsoever. And he's making it into his own. The mask looks fucking cool as fuck. So badass. The entrance is great. The theme song is, not his old theme, but it's in the same rhythm, the same notes, but like very dark. Much darker. Presentation is top notch. I saw a video today floating around on social media. I don't know who posted it. Might have been WWE's account. A little backstage, behind the scenes look of Triple H going over exactly how Nakamura should come out, what he should do, where he should stand, how the lighting should be. Yeah, I don't see AEW going above and beyond to do that with it.
He should be like his style the rest of me.
Triple H gets it.
He should be.
Presentation for Nakamura is fucking grade A. Love it. Now, the creative decision, I hope that they make me like it. I hope that they change my mind. A heel Nakamura could work for the United States Championship. How long he's going to hold that title, I don't know. I think people are pretty I think people are pretty certain that it's not going to be a long run, but who knows? Who knows? LA Knight wants his rematch. We'll see how that plays out. I doubt it's happening at Saturday night's main event. They'll probably save it for somewhere else down the line. To do it again at Saturday night's main event would only be to take the belt off Nakamura. I don't think WWE wants to take the belt off Nakamura. Maybe they are along the lines of thinking that LA Knight is so over he doesn't need the United States title. I don't know. So we'll see where this rematch takes place, but I'll give you guys an idea about where I could possibly see the United States Championship going. Nakamura made his entrance. He posed in the ring. LA Knight's music hit. He didn't really say much of anything. LA Knight, he comes out, and Knight walked out with a microphone. Knight correctly noted that he was in the building in Minneapolis. Knight said Nakamura isn't the real deal, and Nakamura was holding something that belonged to LA Knight. He said he wanted his rematch, and he wanted it tonight. Now, he wasn't in his wrestling gear. Nakamura was, so I knew we weren't getting it tonight. Nakamura did nothing. Nakamura said nothing. He just stood there. So LA Knight, he takes his glasses, he puts his glasses on, and he said that he has his LA Knight mist blockers on. So wearing the glasses would prevent him from getting blinded by the mist, which happened 2 weeks ago. He walked to the ring. As soon as he started walking to the ring, Andrade's music hit, and he walked out with a microphone in his hand. Andrade said, whoa, 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 whoa. LA Knight, I have business with Nakamura. I want Nakamura. I want the United States title. It's great. LA Knight doesn't give a shit. Andrade jumped on the ring apron, and all of a sudden, he was attacked by Tama Tonga.
Oh, come on now. The damn commercials.
I thought he fucking blasted his face and took his fucking face off. That's how bad the spot looked. Tama Tonga, by the way, out there without Tangaloa, who tore a muscle. I believe it was some sort of ligament. I don't remember what they said. Let me see if they said it here. We got Tangaloa suffered a torn bicep. So the men's War Games match had a few casualties. Tangaloa was not out there. He tore his bicep. He's going to be out for at least 6 to 9 months. I mean, he was probably one of the more insignificant members of the Bloodline in Bloodline history. So, I mean, they're not actually at full strength right now. So Tangaloa is out with a torn bicep. Jimmy Uso broke his toe coming down off the big splash off the top of the cage on Jacob Fatu. So he broke his toe. I think he's going to be out a month. And Bronson Reed suffered a broken foot. So he's probably going to be out 3 to 4 months, which I hope that he makes it back in time for WrestleMania. I hope that he does. There should be enough time for him to get back. But man, oh man, losing Bronson Reed is the fucking worst of all the injuries. He was just hitting his stride, man. It really was. That is a tough injury to swallow. So it sucks that he went out with a fucking blaze of glory, I'll tell you that, man. People are still looking back at that fucking spot. Man, within an inch of his life, Roman Reigns' life was saved by CM Punk. As Bronson Reed came off the top rope with a fucking tsunami splash off the top of the War Games cage through a table, and he broke his foot. He broke his foot. You could see the way his foot twisted coming down. Ridiculous spot. All 3 injuries were shown. They showed video of all 3 injuries at the top of the show. So Tama Tonga was out there all by himself without his partner, Tangaloa, who has a torn bicep. So he took Andrade out. Jacob Fatu then attacked LA Knight. Nakamura is in the ring. He's readying to fight. All of a sudden, they focus in on Nakamura. He's in this weird stance. He's about to, like a praying mantis about to strike. All of a sudden, you see some black goo drip from his mouth. He was getting ready to miss Solo and Jacob and Tama Tonga, and they didn't want nothing to do with it. And he backed out of the ring without them touching him at all. Now, I don't know what this means. Do they want the United States Championship? Does Jacob Fatu want the United States Championship? I don't know. They targeted LA Knight and Andrade here. I don't know if if they have anything to do with the Bloodline or if they're setting up something with LA Knight and the Bloodline again, and Andrade with the Bloodline. I don't know. Just randomly came out of nowhere. Or if they're just trying to establish themselves as unpredictable and anything can happen while they're there, and that they need to be a serious threat, even being one man down. I think that's probably more along the lines of what we were going for here. Because I don't see how they fit into LA Knight's business. I don't see how they fit into Andrade's business or Nakamura's business. But Jacob Fatu holding championship gold, I can absolutely see. Maybe he goes after the United States Championship.
I would like that.
So, Sikoa went for a spike on LA Knight. He spiked him down. Andrade was beaten up. Solo took a microphone and said to anyone who thinks they aren't the ones anymore, he dares them to step up because the Bloodline will lay everyone out every single time. Solo says he's tired of people not taking him seriously and that everyone thinks he's a joke. Solo said everyone can laugh all they want because he is still their tribal chief, because he has the Ulafala, and that means he is still the head of the table. Solo says if anyone wants to come down to the ring, they will do what everyone else has to do. Acknowledge him. Segment ended with Fatu, Tamatonga, and Solo while standing there raising the ones. I don't know what that means. I don't. So we'll see what happens there. But I know we are on the road to Roman and Solo. That is the next natural progression here in the Bloodline story. Roman Solo getting the Ulafala back probably happens on Monday night on Netflix. Then that's when we see The Rock. He wins the Ulafala back, and maybe they set up Rock and Roman for WrestleMania. I don't know. Don't know where we go. Or he could win the Ulafala back. Solo has to acknowledge Roman because if you guys remember, months ago, he did have a backstage segment with Tamatonga where he said, if Roman ever takes the Ulafala away from him, I will and everybody will have to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief. So if we don't get Rock and Roman, I could see Solo losing the Ulafala, acknowledging Roman. The others don't follow. The others don't acknowledge. Jacob Fatu leads the Bloodline. And then we get a new Bloodline 2.0 led by Jacob. And Solo has to go groveling back to Roman to help slay the beast, the Samoan werewolf. Because the Bloodline is going to be running rampant with Jacob Fatu. Who the fuck knows what type of leader he's going to be. Which leads eventually to Roman and Jacob Fatu.
The Bloodline story, the Bloodline never ends. That's the
and then Cody,
the Bloodline never ends.
Like Cody would get The Rock, which we'll discuss on tomorrow's extra, because rumor has it that Rock and Cody filmed vignettes and promos,
take your place.
and they are secretly being stored away until the right moment.
Take your place and leave them.
And this was all done on the set of his latest movie. So we will discuss that tomorrow.
Oh wait, hold on.
Which leads eventually to Roman and Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. And then Cody would get The Rock, which we will discuss on tomorrow's extra, because rumor has it that Rock and Cody filmed vignettes and promos, and they are secretly being stored away until the right moment to air them. And this was all done on the set of his latest movie. So we will discuss that tomorrow on OTS Extra. So we may be looking at Rock and Cody at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, which would mean one of two things. Rock is going to win the Royal Rumble, because The Rock is not going to win the Elimination Chamber, because The Rock would rather win the Royal Rumble by doing as least as possible. Then he gets Cody at WrestleMania. Or he just says, fuck the Royal Rumble, I'm going to get my title match, and I'm going to inject myself into the title match, and fuck it.
Oh, I hope not. That will piss me off on a lot of people. You can give it to a part-timer in the 50s who's past his prime. Why did The Rock need to win the Rumble to get Cody Rhodes? It doesn't need a fucking title. I mean, last year the story was so personal. Rock made about his mother, he whooped him, he made him bleed, he had the weight belt. Everything The Rock did last year was so personal, it didn't need the goddamn title. Oh, I hope not. The Rock had no business being in the Rumble or winning the Rumble. Now, he's not going to win the Chamber because then we have to do too much, but he's not winning the Chamber. That tells me that Cody Rhodes might drop the title. to whoever. It tells me that, well, Cody Rhodes is probably gonna drop the title, and then you can do Rock and Cody non-title, because it doesn't need a title. Who went the fucking Rumble? I'm more curious who can win the Rumble. It should not be the Rock. You'll have a lot of picked up people. If WWE go back to the same old shit, giving it the part timers and legends pack their prime, I sure as hell hope not.
Which I hope that they don't do, because you can't shit on the Royal Rumble in such a match.
Yeah.
It's the biggest match on the road to WrestleMania. It's the one match that should determine the main event of WrestleMania. So hopefully they go about it in a different way, the right way this year, instead of just last minute planning because Dwayne wants to do this and plans are already in motion and plans are on the table and set in stone, and then Rock wants to come in and blow shit up. Which, I mean, I could see happening anyway. I'm not going to complain if that does happen, because that just needs more videos and more content for us that people want to digest. But let's go about the Royal Rumble this year in the right way, please. Tommaso Ciampa. This was for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are your tag team champions. Now, this was supposed to be the Street Profits, but somebody mysteriously took them out. I'm assuming it's Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know who else it could be. Those three teams have been the only three teams highlighted here with this tension between them over the tag team title. So I'm assuming it was Tommaso Ciampa, or it may have been Johnny Gargano for all we fucking know. I don't know. The way he acted at the end of the match, I won't be surprised if Johnny attacked him. Fled the scene, came back to Nick Aldis, and then begged Nick Aldis for a title match, and Nick Aldis was coerced to give Johnny Gargano.
Alright, so made this video long enough. Gonna stop the video. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with more. Until next time.